Hey guys, Christo Garcia, My Swing Evolution. Welcome to 2018. This is the beginning of a brand new year, and I think it's the beginning of a brand new approach to my swing evolution. You guys may not be aware of this, but there have been multiple goals, a series of goals that I've accomplished during the course of my swing evolution. 5 of which are very, very easy to see, but probably people are not aware of them. So I'm simply going to list them out for you. When I started my swing evolution, my goal was simple. I wanted to break 80. The last time I had done it was in 1989 when I was about 19 years old. So it had been over 2 decades since I had broken 80, and I set out with that goal. Well, the first year of my swing evolution, I broke 80 14 times. I think that's a pretty decent accomplishment. Well, I couldn't get past 74. This was a huge hurdle for me. So you may recall in 2014 that I decided to shake things up, and I discussed my mental program to do this. This may be the most important video out of over 550 videos that I've ever made, but I don't think people understood it. I didn't emphasize it, but I knew how important it was. So I changed my mental roadmap, and what happened? I broke 80 6 weeks later. I shot 2 under par. Well, the next accomplishment that was pretty remarkable was the Ben Hogan Golf Equipment Company came back into existence, and I wanted to be sponsored by them. Guess what happened? After a little bit of work, a little bit of visualization, it happened. The next thing that was a pretty big, arcing, enormous goal of mine was to make a documentary about Ben Hogan. Now, what's the big deal about that? I wanted to know firsthand from the people who are still with us that intimately knew Ben Hogan whether or not the stories were true. Guess what? I got to meet them all. I am one of the inner circle people in the Ben Hogan world, and all of my questions were answered. And I'm so proud and honored that I created the film Mr. Hogan. Now, the 5th great goal of my swing evolution that I achieved, I can't even tell you about. You will find out about it during the week of the Masters. So I'll just leave that at that. And those 5 goals that I achieved, that's not even the full list of it. There's many other smaller goals. I've got so many projects and things that I've created, like the Hogan Code and everything else. There have been a lot of other mini goals along the way. But you'd be shocked if I told you how many professional golfers and instructors have asked me, how did you do it? How did you become a big YouTube personality in the world of golf as just an amateur? It's got to be infuriating to a lot of these pros that are obviously much better golfers than I am. Well, I never wanted to compete against them on that playing field. My goal was simply to tell my story. So there may be 10,000 golfers on YouTube that have a plus handicap that are standing on a tee box trying to tell you how not to slice the ball. The technical work is great. It's important. I've talked a lot about technique on my channel. But how can you cut through by being the 10,001st person talking about the same thing? That's not going to help you break out if you want to create a golf YouTube channel. You have to do something that sticks with the viewer. And the most important thing that I have done on my channel is simply by demonstrating my goal setting and achieving these series of goals, I have inspired people. I've shown people that you can do it too. I was dissatisfied with my golf game for decades. I quit the game for 4 years. I swore I'd never, ever play it again. I was afraid of golf. It's the honest God truth. I was afraid of golf. And I knew I had unfinished business in regards to this game. So finally, one day, I asked myself, why am I satisfied with being completely dissatisfied? It's really, really easy to accept defeat in this game because it's so maddening. And you never get as good as you want to be. I know that there's a lot of people who tell me, man, I wish I had your golf swing. But when I look at my golf swing and I compare it to the greatest of all time, Ben Hogan, I've got more holes than Swiss cheese. I've got a lifetime of work ahead of me. I've also got bad habits and a body that is aging and it's difficult. So I'm never going to be able to reach perfection. But by reaching for perfection, I've made it pretty darn high on the ladder. I've made it much farther than I ever could have imagined when I first started this journey. So I want to talk about something that's very important, and that is goal setting. So if you say to yourself, man, I want to be better at the game of golf, you might as well compare that to something like, I want to be able to build a rocket ship. It's too complex. Golf is too complex for you to visualize and goal set, I want to be a better golfer. There's driving, long irons, short irons, there's short game, pitching, lag putting, medium range putting, short putting. I think all these skills are vast and so disparate that you can't say, I want to be a better golfer and expect that to happen. You must be specific. This is one of the things that I've learned in my goal setting and all the different things that I do in my life. Golf is great, but really, golf is my hobby. That's not what I do the best. If you were to ask me, Christo Garcia, what is the very best thing that you do? I will tell you straight out, I believe with all my heart, I am the best martial arts action actor in the world. That, like golf, is an enormous subject. It requires physicality, a background in combat training, competition, a degree in performance, ballet. I'm even a professional ballet dancer and fight instructor, personal trainer. I know diet. There are so many elements that go into that. You could never start out wanting to be the best martial arts action star in the world and just hope that it will happen. It requires goal setting on a staggered scale where you're knocking out this small goal, that small goal, this small goal, that small goal. And each year you look back and you're closer to where you want to be. So in the game of golf, you must be specific. The Ben Hogan book, 5 Lessons, that saved my life because I could get specific. He breaks it down into 5 areas: grip, address, backswing, etc. So you can be more specific about what you're trying to work on. Trying to tackle the entire thing is impossible. There's an old saying, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. That's all you can do, is one bite at a time. Now, 2018, I am going to tell you, I am going to be talking a lot more about my mental strategies and visualization, because this is the elephant in the room. It's the thing that people don't talk about. It's the thing that all the technique in the world isn't going to help you if you can't create a vision in your mind of what you want to accomplish and then allow everything to happen within that sphere so you can continue to make forward progress. The most important thing I want you to do is enjoy this game. This is a beautiful game. It's not life and death. I see people losing their minds when they hit a bad shot. That was one of the first things I had to grant myself, is that everybody hits bad shots. Everybody, even the pros. But the thing is, the pros can fix their problems. Most of us, we just continue to recreate the problem over and over again. So, that being said, 2018 is going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be your year on the golf course, and I'm going to help you develop mental strategies to get you all the way to where you want to be. Now we're going to do this one step at a time. You need a clear vision in your mind of what you want to accomplish. And then break that down into smaller goals. And then every time you go to the golf course, you take that first step, you take that little bite, and by the end of the year, this elephant will be gone. I hope you hit them long and hit them straight.
It's hard to describe the sound when Mr. Hogan hit a shot.
He had this tenacity about him. It's really the stuff legends are made of.
He was like Michelangelo and Da Vinci. You know, he was an artist with a golf club.
This is Ben Hogan's locker right here, number 50.
He caddied for my dad. That was the beginning of their relationship.
Suffering produces endurance. Endurance produces character.
He knew what was going to happen, and there wasn't anything he could do about it.
Why he actually decided at that point in time to share what he told me, I have no idea.
What I think he did was he applied physics better than everybody else.
Ben Hogan never watched Jack Nicklaus practice, but Jack Nicklaus watched Ben Hogan practice.
People say Hogan won't ever talk to you. Well, Hogan talked to me a lot.